But today, we gather to tell our own story. A story of resilience, excellence, innovation, culture.
And this is how Daniel Asua, the very first voice, head of AAGC's Ghana Secretariat, drew the line in the sand that every conversation will follow at the just ended AAGC 2026 in Accra. Giving her opening address, she said, Africa must build Africa with African solutions, partnerships, and excellence, not borrowing, not waiting, and not imitating. And that was the room's only rule from the very first minute. The first presentation of the day was not about trade policy. It was not about investment frameworks or industrial corridors. It was about a fruit. Reverend Dr. Glory Abis Shamson stood before the room and told the story of breadfruit, a crop introduced to him in a dream by an old woman who said, take care of it, it will be for the future. He took this dream to crop researchers. He wrote his thesis on it. He spent 2 years studying its properties, its power against diabetes, heart diseases, the chronic illness that are quietly dismantling African bodies while we debate African economy. Dr. Abi spoke passionately about how Ghana can maximize the commercial side of the breadfruit. The breadfruit story is not about just the fruit. It's about every African innovation that has died, not lack of vision, but lack of market that believed in itself. The world is coming to Africa for its answers, and Africa must decide whether it will sell them or consume them first. While the main hall debated policy, Tine Faulkner and Shed Roberts were doing something that no policy document can replicate. They divided the room by birthdays. They asked people to talk about moments that changed their lives. And from those moments emerged topics that formal sessions never reached. Mental health, school dropout, economic exclusion, waste and recycling. They used music, they used sport, they used story. Because before Africa can build its industrial future, it might hail its people it's asking to build. And that was the Creative Arts Clinic. And it was the most honest conversation of the day. Then Apostle Michael stood up and reframed the entire summit with one sentence. Africa is no longer a continent of potential, but of prophetic possibilities and emerging capacities. The word potential has been used to describe Africa for over 60 years. Potential means it hasn't happened yet. It means wait. He replaced it with capacity, with prophecy, with now. He asked the hardest question of the day. Will Africa rise according to borrowed models or according to her own design, her own realities, her own destiny? Courageous, righteous leadership, strategic integration of all African talents, transformational continuity, not leadership that begins and ends with election cycle. Africa is you, Africa is us. We must take the step from today. He did not speak about Africa as a place. He spoke about Africa as a decision. Also, Dr. Otumawale Akim Boboye took the stage and said what only a man who has already proved his point has a right to say. That Africa is not just a continent, that it is the mother of mankind. That is the original garden, and its history was not lost. It was deliberately taken. And the industrial